The Spirit Within Us, a saga of two bold families who helped build a democracy. This book was written by my friend and colleague, Dr. Jack Greeson. Jack is a psychologist who retired from practice several years ago. He has since become somewhat of a historian. Jack wrote this book by combining what he has learned about his personal family tree with the historical records of the times. In this book, and in our YouTube reviews of this book, you'll learn about the events that led to the initial immigration of Europeans to America and the founding of our democracy. Let's let Jack tell us a bit about his story.
In writing this book, I have become aware that my personality and why I became a psychologist was that it was important for me to help people face and deal with their pain and hopefully overcome it, struggles in life. And I recognize in my training that it's important to get inside a person's life. How do they believe? How do they think? How do they respond and react? What are the influences in their lives that may have led them to this particular problem situation? I tried to bring that out to you, the reader, helping you understand not just what's the action in the scene, but what's going on in the person's mind. What are the things in their life and their background and their family history that have led them to this particular point in their lives? And what are the values and the life learnings that they take with them to help them to cope and overcome the problems in their lives, if indeed they're able to? Yes. There are many famous psychologists, well known and some who are not known at all, whom I made a point to during my training to read, and in fact some of them, like many of the German psychologists, it was important for me to read them in their original German language, and so I learned German and I read some of their works in the original German language. I wanted to understand the different psychologists, how they were alike, how their thoughts and theories were alike, how they worked together. Of course, sometimes I found out that their theories were actually quite different from one another, but I think overall it helped me put the pieces of the puzzle together in my own brain and in my own work in helping people overcome their life struggles. Absolutely. Of course, as I was collecting the research and interviewing and doing everything that I could to find out about these people, my ancestors, I was taking that psychological training and background and my own yearning for putting the pieces together and understanding, and trying to understand why they made the choices that they did. How did they overcome these problems? Well, in most cases, they had learned skills in their past that they applied. For example, those who were the indigenous people, the native people. There was a complete strategy and set of life skills that they had learned that many of the other people who lived nearby them, who didn't have these learnings, didn't know, and therefore didn't know how to cope as well as they did in many cases. So yes, I think one of the main reasons for me doing the research and deciding to write this book was still a psychological reason to help people understand how to live their own lives by looking at others and seeing what worked and what didn't work and what they can learn from the past.